Hello. Today we're going to talk about a mirror will. What is it and what are some of the issues with it and how could we deal with some of those issues? My name is Gregory Singleton. I'm an estate planning and probate attorney with Signature Law. Signature Law is an estate planning and probate law firm that serves the Twin Cities and Greater Minnesota alike. Just a reminder, if you like today's video, please feel free to smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps support the channel. A couple caveats before we get going. First of all, we're going to be talking about Minnesota law specifically. So if you're in another jurisdiction, make sure to talk to an estate planning professional in that jurisdiction. And secondly, this video is for educational purposes only. I am not giving you legal advice. Make sure to speak with an attorney in your jurisdiction for that service. So, what is a mirror will? Basically, it's two people who have wills that mirror each other. And it says that when the first of them dies, all of their assets will go to the second person. And then when the second of them dies, their assets will distribute out however both of them had agreed. A lot of married couples do this. Notably, this actually mirrors what the statute does. It gives assets to the spouse and then it goes out to the kids if kids are going to be the second person in line. However, it doesn't, of course, need to be married people. In fact, I serve a lot of people that are unmarried and just in partnerships, and they want to have the same protection as married couples do, so they do married wills. Now, there are a few issues with mirror wills that we need to talk about. The main thing is that you're not locked in if you do a mirror will. When the first person dies, that second person can change their will however they want. You can change your will generally as many times and as often as you want during your life. So what are some of the problems with this? And we're not going to talk about, there are nefarious things that you could do, but there are some just general problems that can happen. Let's take Alice and Bill. They don't have any kids. And their plan is when the first of them dies, they give assets to the second of them. And when the second of them dies, half their assets are going to Alice's brothers and sisters. The other half is going to Bill's brothers and sisters. So then Alice dies. She is trampled by elephants. It's bloody. It's terrible. We all feel horrific, and especially Bill. Now, during Bill's life after Alice dies, maybe his relationship with Alice's family just deteriorates. Without her to link him to the family, all of a sudden they don't have a relationship. Maybe instead of this being animosity or ambivalence being the precursor to Bill changing his will, what if Bill comes into a large amount of money? Bill may think, you know what? I didn't have this money when I was with Alice, so I don't think that Alice's family should benefit from my good fortune after she died. So Bill might change his will to cut out Alice's family or to decrease the amount that Alice's family would get. It doesn't have to be ambivalence or animosity. Now, the variant of this, instead of going to brothers and sisters, would be that if Alice and Bill had children from prior marriages, all of a sudden Alice dies, Bill decides he doesn't like Alice's kids. Maybe Alice's kids he never helped raise. Maybe they were adults by the time Alice and Bill got together and he could cut them out. That actually happens quite a bit. You'd be surprised. But what if we take out the animosity and we take out the ambivalence and we just say, something happens, and even when people fully intend to honor the mirror will. Take Claire and David. So Claire and David each have children from a prior marriage. They make mirror wills, giving all their assets to each other, and then when the second of them dies, it goes down to their kids in equal share. So Claire's alive, David dies, David is trampled by ants. It's really awkward, but it happens. They have a mirror will. Claire fully intends to honor the mirror will and not change her will. However, Claire marries Earl. And let's say Claire and Earl make a mirror will together, and Claire thinking, oh, Earl will honor the mirror will just like I'm going to honor the mirror will to David. Then Claire dies. All of a sudden, Earl sits there and thinks to himself, well, I like Claire's kids and I like my kids, but I don't know who this David character is. She talked about him a bit. I've seen pictures, but I don't know him. He's not part of my life. I don't want my assets going to someone's kids who I don't know. Earl changes his will, cuts out David's kids. All of a sudden, Claire, intending to do everything she could to honor that mirror will, now cut out David's kids because she didn't plan properly. So what can you do to prevent this? Well, there's really two solutions. One's better than the other. One's a little more rare, but we'll talk about both. The first thing you can do is do a will contract. This is Minnesota Statute 524.2-514. It basically allows you to make a contract to not revoke a will. You have to follow certain statutory guidelines to do this. There's a lot of requirements, but you can do it. The problem with this, well, there's several problems with this. First of all, they're kind of rare. When I first came across the statute, I thought to myself, I've never heard of anyone getting a contract to not change a will. And then I realized this happens in prenuptial and antenuptial agreements or in divorce agreements. Basically, they're court-approved documents, or they have to follow the court muster, and you can contract to never change your will. The real problem with this is they require special drafting. You could have mirror wills that you can't change. We've got Alice and Bill. Alice dies. Bill, during his lifetime, could say, you know what, I don't want Alice's kids to get all the money. Maybe I'll just gift the majority of my assets to my kids while I'm alive. Then I haven't breached the contract when I die. I'm not changing my will because that only deals with assets I have at my death. So you got to be very careful when you're drafting these documents. The other solution, which is a lot more common, and you're just going to see a lot more, is creating separate revocable living trusts for both individuals. Not a joint trust. Joint trusts can be changed by the surviving trustee, but separate revocable living trusts solve this problem. The way they work is we'll use Alice and Bill because we keep bringing them back to life and killing them off again, so let's do it one more time. Bill dies. This time he's trampled by sardines. I don't know how it happens. It just does. When he dies, his revocable living trust, which holds all the assets that he had during life, becomes irrevocable. Alice cannot change the terms of Bill's irrevocable trust. During Alice's lifetime, Bill's revocable living trust keeps the principal, but gives the income to Alice to make sure that she has something to live off of for the rest of her life. But it protects the principal. Then when Alice dies, his revocable living trust distributes to his children, and her revocable living trust distributes to her children, or whoever they want, brothers, sisters, friends, charities, you name it, you can distribute it that way. This solves the problem of the mirror will. And you're probably going to see this a lot more if you start talking to an estate planning attorney. It's very common in second marriages or late in life marriages, or where it's marriages where there's a lot of assets at issue. So that's my take on mirror wills, what they are, what are some of the problems, etc. I hope you liked today's video. If you did like today's video, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does support the channel. Also, if you want to learn more about estate planning and probate, we do a new video every other Wednesday. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, until next time, this is Gregory Singleton with Signature Law.